Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye, bye. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to Gunners Collective TV. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, make sure you put that notification bell on all, so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking, and I highly appreciate all the support. Thank you very much. So what the hell's going on in the CDC, man? It's a murder was the case that they gave them, right? It's rampage killing going on right now. There's so many different incidences happening. I can't remember in all my time doing time in the CDC, in the California Department of Corrections, this much chaos happening back to back to back to back. It's crazy. You know, one thing you don't do when you're in prison is go against the grain. Go against the yard policies or yard politics or the politics of your people, right? If you are out there on that yard and it's running smooth, best believe you want to keep it running smooth, because the powers that may be, the big four behind the scenes, the yard is set the way they want it. If you go against the grain and you fuck it up for your people, there's going to be repercussions. You know, for every action you make, if someone steps on your shoes and they don't apologize, yes, it's the catch-22. You got to get off where you're mad at. But at the same time, if that motherfucking big homie got a visita coming that weekend and you mess that up, oh, yeah, yes, there will be blood, right? Right now in the California Department of Corrections, there's back-to-back murders, more than I've ever seen. And now there's this incident that's taking place in Mule Creek. Now, Mule Creek is an SNY yard, you know, so people automatically assume SNY, they add 2 + 2 = no good, right? But there's still some killers there. There's still people that have, yes, maybe some have sexual deviant charges, maybe some, you know, rolled it up or got whacked or removed. At the end of the day, there's some dudes there that are really, really with the business and that are in on murder cases and all kinds of things. And you never know what they're thinking. One thing about an SNY yard is there's no one to answer to. There's no politics. They could do whatever the hell they want to do anytime they want to do it. They could wake up in a bad mood and handle business. You know, and when you got known killers, convicted killers on a yard, that's a dangerous situation. You know, so with that being said, the SNY yards on the California side in the prison system are actually more dangerous and worse than the general population. I know a lot of active dudes don't like to hear it, but it's the fucking facts and the truth. When you don't have to answer to no one, when you could pretty much just wild west it and do whatever you want, well, there's a bunch of Billy the Kids running around with Billy Westerns, right? I like it, 22ster. I used your word, puto, right? And that's just that. There's an incident that took place, and now that national news is picking it up and people are starting to hear about this story, it's picking up a lot of negative attention, man. And it could have bad repercussions for, I'm going to explain to you what's going on. So this guy who already is convicted of 4 murders, he's a lifer, you know, goes to a conjugal visit right there at Mule Creek State Prison, which is in Ione, California, right out of Sacramento, and unalives his wife during a conjugal visit. Now, I remember when I was young going to conjugal visits, my father was in Tehachapi, and my brother was actually made up out of a conjugal visit. And I remember me and my mom used to go. I remember this so far, a long time ago. I remember I was a little kid. My mom made spaghetti. We were in there for 3 days in a trailer. My mom and dad, they were doing what they does. I ain't mad at it, right? They were living their best life. And I was kicking back right there watching Rocky 3. I was watching Clubber Lang get Clubber Langed, right? And my mom was in there getting Clubber Langed. I respect it. That's my dad's wife at the time. They could do what they do. Anyways, it was a great thing to be around my father, to basically be like in an apartment and enjoy his company. And I'm sure, you know, he looked forward to it. You know, you don't just get conjugal visits all the time. It's something you have to earn. It's an incentive. You know, for a while there, they took the lifers conjugal visits. If you were a lifer, you didn't have that coming because they felt it was an incentive that you didn't deserve. You know, they fought it. The inmates, the convicts fought it. And they were able to overturn, and eventually lifers were able to get conjugal visits. But when incidences like this happen, you know, when these guys kill their wives or their loved ones, or things are happening in the visiting room, that's just giving the CDC, the administration, ammunition to shut that shit down. You know, this guy unaliving his wife, killing his wife, right? I hate that word, unaliving. You have to be all fucking politically correct. Man, I ain't woke, bro. I'm awake, though, right? Let's get... Look, the dude killed and strangled his wife, unfortunately. You know, could anyone see it coming? You don't know. There's a lot of convicted murderers, lifers that get conjugal visits that don't do that shit with their old lady. They're just happy to get him on. This guy, for whatever reason, and only he knows the true reasons behind what he did. You know, maybe he has anger management problems. Maybe it was a plotted and planned thing. Maybe, you know, she was cheating on him. Maybe he just decided that day, you know what, fuck it. This is what I feel like doing. Whatever the case may be, it's going to have big ramifications for all the other lifers and other people that look forward to conjugal visits. You already have the CDC on modified program. You know, I heard LA County Jail is now on modified program. That's how bad it's got. That's how many people are getting killed. That's how many people are getting injured. In LA County, they just had someone got murdered last week, and they had several stabbings. You know, it's off the hook right now in California. Everything's going down. You got Big U locked up. You got Brick Baby on the dead homies, right? Doing what he does. You got the Adam 22 stir, right? Or the 16 stir, whatever he is, you know, over there trying to cover shit up. You got a lot of shit going on in the state of California right now. And within the Department of Corrections, it's off the hook. It's wild. People are wilding out. So, of course, you're going to have a lot of lockdown situations. And the administration is going to utilize these things. They give you the rope to hang yourself. Then they utilize it to slam people in the back. See, this is what's going to happen. Or this is what could happen. Hopefully it doesn't. There's been several incidents now that have boggled my mind. One of them was the incident that happened a few weeks back that I didn't touch on. I didn't do a video on it just because of the people that it involved, right? But there was an incident where Bulldogs and Southerners got off with each other in the visiting room. Now, visiting room has always been neutral ground and off limits. Anytime I was in prison, even in the youth authority, it was neutral ground and off limits. I remember when I used to go to, when I was in Nellis, and I actually have a picture somewhere. I can't find it, man. I think my grandmother has it right at her pad. But I took a picture right there in Nellis with my tia, my grandmother. They came all the way to LA to see me. And you can see a Southsider throwing up 1-3 in the back. He photobombed me, right? I didn't know it 2 years later when I seen the picture. I was like, what? Fausto got me. But still, that was about as far as it went, right? There was never no disrespectful, no mean mugs and shoulder shrugs. When you were with your family and they were with their family, you forgot about the gangs. You forgot about the politics. You forgot about the bullshit. Hey, catch you in the fucking rebound, punk. That's how it was. That was the mentality. We're going to wait till all the people from Visita, all the regular people, civilians and families leave. And then, and only then, it is what it is. I remember getting a couple visits in Nellis, not very many in LA, man, because I was from Northern California, right? But my tia and my grandmother came 2 times. And I remember in both those visitas, I got jumped on. As soon as visiting ended, Southsiders approached me like, what's up? Let's in. Boom, 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 boom. Which was crazy because then I just had to go right back to the building with Southsiders. I never understood why they had to make it a public thing, but it just was what it was, right? But there was never anything that happened in visiting. So when this incident took place in prison where the Southerners and the Bulldogs got off, it kind of tripped me out. Like, damn, they're doing it like that now? Now visiting is not, and they didn't do it like after visiting. They did it during visiting. In front of visitors, there's women, there's children, there's old folks, there's civilians, there's people that they're not used to that shit, right? So it tripped me out. I didn't want to touch on that because I felt like there was a reason for everything. Okay, so I was kind of like, all right, wow, maybe this was an isolated incident, but then I heard it wasn't. And I don't know. Well, I don't know what's true anymore. So now you have this guy going to conjugal visit, and best believe this ain't the first time someone's been killed in a conjugal visit. And I'm sure probably won't be the last, but the CDC will use it as ammunition to make it the last. You know, when the end of hostilities happened and these 4 groups, these men got together and decided, hey, we need to put our differences to the past, set it to the side, man, work together on common ground and for a common understanding. We need to have some camaraderie, right? We're going to have some camaraderie and understand that the only way for us as a gente, for your people, for our people, for all people in the California Department of Corrections, North, South, white, black, doesn't matter. In order for people to be afforded the opportunity of social status of equality, they have to come together, okay, with the common understanding that, hey, any type of drama, any type of misstep is going to make the people look bad Come together in solidarity, man, and you could achieve a lot more. You could achieve your set goals. That's what I've always learned. They did that. They were able to go to court, file a writ of habeas corpus, do what they had to do, file their lawsuits, and guess what happened? They were afforded the equal opportunity and the rights to come out from the back. No more indeterminate shoes. They got a lot more incentive. It worked out, but it was hardship and it was a lot of struggle that went into that. It wasn't just doing paperwork. It was fucking doing paperwork. It was setting fucking old idealisms to the past. It was hunger strikes. It was sit downs. There was a lot that went into it, and a lot of guys made sacrifice. So when these dudes are going crazy on these yards, stabbing people, hitting people, you're just giving administration the ammunition they need to take it back to the courts to say, look, we gave them the opportunities you told us, and it backfired. It's unsafe. This is how it starts with modified programs. It's too dangerous. It's all over the news. You got LA County Jail on lockdown. You got all the level 4s on modified program. You got a lot of shit happening, and as convicts, you have to conduct yourself to a certain standard and with professionalism, regardless of what people may say. These guys are locked up. What are you talking about professionalism? It's just a fucking way it is, eh? Straight up. Or you could be the next one whack. That's how it goes, right? When these guys are going haywire, they're kicking it off in the fuck. When civilians are becoming involved, when you're getting off in the fucking busy, like you can kill each other on the yard all day, every day. That's prison. That happens. It's been happening. It's going to continue to happen. But when you're involving civilians, when you're getting off in fucking visiting rooms, when you're rushing free staff or getting off on the fucking officers, when you're fucking unaliving your family members in trailer visits, like this dude did in Mule Creek, this sets a precedent. That lays a demo down for them to have the opportunity to take it back to the courts and say, see, we told you so. You let the animals out of the cage. What do you think they're going to do? Because that's what they refer human beings to in prison as animals. Animalistic behavior. And when you display that type of conduct and behavior, what do you expect them to do? We calls it like we sees it, is what they say. California is off the hook right now, and I don't know what's in the drinking water. I don't know why. Never in a long time have I seen so many killings. Maybe it's all coincidence, and maybe it's just all happening. It's always been like that. One incident happens, something else pops off, but usually it calms down, mellows out for a while. People do their program, they get back to the yard, get to functioning. But this seems to be a back-to-back thing. Now you have this guy in Mule Creek, and I seen this thing happen about a couple weeks ago, and it's just now hitting national news. So for whatever reason, they recognized it, and now national news wants to run with it. Big-time media, right? It was on social media. Now big-time media wants to run with it, and it's definitely a big story. It's definitely a story where a convicted murderer was afforded an incentive and a privilege, and he took advantage of that, and it could cause a lot of chaos. This is just speculation, but let me explain to you what chaos it should cause, or it could cause. Not should, but could. First of all, it's going to definitely be a situation now where they're going to monitor the trailer visits much closer. So anyone who had whatever they had going on before they had it going on ain't going to have it going on no more, because now it's going to be a situation where they're going to monitor it very close. If anything, they might suspend the privilege for a while until they figure out how they're going to do that. So it's going to fuck people's visits off that they've been looking forward to for months. Because guys will sit there and look forward to seeing their old lady for 6 months and try to do good, man, and try to stay out the way and go to school and do their program, which they should be doing anyways. But this is an incentive to do that. And this might have and could have and should have and might have fucked their program off, right? Then you could have it to where the CDC just decides, we're going to kill trailer visits for lifers, period. We gave them an opportunity, and this one guy fucked it up. Then there comes the racial aspect of it. I hate to say it, but it's the truth, and I'm going to hit you from both angles. Look, because I had this conversation with Dubs yesterday, and he shed some light, and I was like, oh, shit, you're right, bro. I didn't think of it that way. The situation is this. That was a black man that killed a black woman, okay? To me, skin color doesn't matter. Ethnicity doesn't matter. The ethnicity of someone doesn't really matter to me, okay? A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, period. No matter the pigmentation of their skin. That's just me, right? Other people don't think that way. And it's very political along racial lines in prison. So there are going to be those who get upset. This black dude messed it up for all of us. Now, maybe not necessarily on an SNY yard, which this incident, that's what it happened. But it's not isolated to the incident or to the SNY yard because it's becoming news all over the state of California, right? The SNY, the active GP shit don't mean shit to big time media or to civilians. Prison is prison, right? in-house, politically, politics, gangs, all that. Of course, it means something if you're active or not active and all that. But to society, you're a prisoner. You're convicted of a crime. You're all the fucking same. That's how they feel, right? So, anyways, this guy being black, you got the whites on the yard, the Mexicans on the yard, the Asians, the Usos that are going to be upset because now their visits, their shit is being affected because this black man did what he did, right? Shouldn't be that way, but that's just the fucking, I'm not here to add preservatives. I'm here to give it to you real, right? And I'm not trying to make it a racial thing. I'm just saying this is how some people on the prison yard, I've been on prison yards, look at it. I was like, damn, that's fucked up, man. That could cause drama for the brothers, man. It could turn racial. It could kick off or ignite something that should never have happened, right? All because this dude was a black dude and he killed his wife, right? If it was a white dude, same thing. If it was a Mexican dude, same thing. But then you got to look at it from this way. When the Mexicans just had the incident in the visiting room, and there was weapons pulled, and a civilian, someone's family could have got hurt. The blacks, the whites, everyone could have been mad at the Mexicans. So it goes all ways. It's a situation where you don't blame someone of skin color because of he's that color. He's an ex-convict convicted of murders, man. And there's no way you could do your homework into what a person's mentality is or what they're thinking. Obviously, this guy was trusted enough to go to conjugal visits. It wasn't his very first one. And for whatever reason, he killed his wife. Allegedly. Again, this is all alleged because it's an ongoing investigation, even though dude's a fucking lifer with 4 bodies. Still, I'm just truly hoping, man, that CDC sees it the way of it's an isolated incident. Shit happens. And not blame or hold everyone accountable for one guy's mistakes. Because there's a lot of people, like I said, that made sacrifice to be on those yards, that made sacrifice to have social status of equality or to make it better for prisoners while incarcerated. Nobody wants to go back to the shoe. Nobody wants to sit there in them dungeons on indeterminates and get validated and be treated like an animal. Nobody wants that. Everybody appreciates being on the yard, the packages, the canteen, what little fucking socialization you get or got, right? But believe me, that's the reason why all these things have been happening. That's why the integrations of yards have been happening. That's why gang members are being placed with their rivals. That's why you have ex-gang members or dropouts being placed on active yards or vice versa. That's why you have a lot of these things are happening. They're not fucking just coincidences or, oh man, it's not some secret squirrel shit. It's being happened right in front of our faces. It's happening in real life in high definition because they're trying to cause as much chaos as possible. So that way they understand that if they put an active gang member with a non-active gang member, what's going to happen? The non-active gang member is going to have to get off for self-preservation, and security. The active is going to get off because if he doesn't, he can never show his face again on a fucking active yard. So it's a situation where it's fucked. It's bad. And believe me, the administration knows what they're doing. All of a sudden, as soon as there's an end of hostilities, now there's integrated yards. Now there's non-designated yards. Now there's yards. They're shutting down S&Y and they're just making it all one. Why wasn't this shit happening prior to that? Why? Because it wasn't an issue then. It wasn't an issue to have segregation and keep people segregated. It was all good. But now when the convicts win a lawsuit and now when they're able to actually function on a yard, they say, okay, if you guys want to function together, then you guys got to function with everybody. Knowing that gang politics and prison politics, you can't, right? So it just gives you, like I said, it's a perfect example. It's giving them the rope to hang themselves, man. It's unfortunate, but it's the fucking way it is. This guy in Mule Creek doing what he did, the family is pretty upset. The family of the woman that got killed are pretty upset. And they're being very vocal. They want to sue, the CDC. They want to sue. Now, look, I don't know if that's going to work out for them because anytime you go to visiting, and this goes for anyone, you're taking your life in your hands. It's not a safe environment. You're told that. You understand you're going into a prison, man. You are now locked in that prison with everyone else for an hour or two, right? So I don't know if the CDC is going to be responsible for her being killed. She knew what her husband was, what he was convicted of, and condolences to the family. I'm sure they're grieving, and they see this as an opportunity to set a precedent and change and maybe get some money. But I don't see them having a lawsuit or a case. But I don't know. I wasn't there. I was at the cucaracha right there by the guy's fucking plate of food when he decided to go crazy. I will say this, though, the more that they're vocal and this becomes more national news, that's putting pressure on the CDC to clamp down and do something about it. And believe me, if it affects other prisoners, convicts, gang members on them prison yards, it's going to be hell to pay. You think you won't see blood now? Wait till later. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. Let me know what you think. Do you think this one incident is going to mess everything up? Or do you think this is just another bump in the road? And what do you think about LA County Jail now being on modified program? It's the truth. It's happening, man. CDC, jails, all kinds of shit is on modified program. You know, LA County Jail is damn near like a prison, though. They're in accordance with CDCR and all that. I don't want to just say CDC because the rehabilitation part, I guess, works, right? You already know what it is, man. This is the gun. I appreciate you. Bang, bang.